So welcome to My Spiritual Sanctuary. My name is Sandra, and welcome, welcome, welcome if this is your first time. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Glad to have you back. And those newcomers, I'm glad that you have found me. Everything is in divine order, so you are here for the messages that I'm about to give today for you. So stay till the end because this will get interesting, okay? Before we get started, please like, share, and subscribe so that you can get my videos as they come out. And then it'll also give me the ratings on the channel so that I can keep the information flowing for all those people that need to hear the messages that I'm about to tell you, okay? Well, today is June 1st, and I am had announced that I would be releasing my soul element readings, which would be the metal, wood, earth, fire, and water readings, and those will be forthcoming. I've decided to change the format on those to be weekly, and I'm also making some changes with those as well. However, over the course of the last week, I have been divinely guided that my mission next is to talk about something that I'm experiencing, and it's about relationships and being involved with a narcissistic type relationship. I hate to put labels on people, however, the behavior mimics a narcissistic type of behavior. And I have released that relationship about 45 days ago, and have been in isolation pretty much, partly because of the COVID, but also because I have been doing a lot of contemplating about my life and how I should move forward. I've also been watching a lot of YouTube videos on tarot card readings because I'm a tarot card reader, and also Christian YouTube channels relating to narcissistic abuse and other channels relating to, from attorneys to mental health professionals to doctors, on this thing called narcissistic abuse. Now, again, I am coming from the one mind and the unmanifest, and I don't like to put labels on people, but what I'm experiencing is something that most, I would say, empaths may experience in their lives and their relationships, in addition to people who are just getting into relationships, and most importantly, for the young teenage girls and boys who are entering a relationship, should be aware of these types of behaviors that have led to, for me, physical abuse, mental abuse, and emotional abuse over the course of the last 4 or 5 years, maybe even as I'm thinking into my past. I've been involved in relationships and even had parents that mimicked narcissistic behavior patterns. Maybe I have as well, and that's maybe why I've attracted it. But with awareness, we can make changes. However, when you are encountering someone who is not aware and not awakened, they are not in a position to change, okay? And it also oftentimes will be an addictive disorder. Now, I'm not a mental health professional, a doctor, but I am an energy worker, and I have worked with energy and worked with relationships and people for a long time. I can see the patterns. And so I'm just coming off of my own experiences, and what I've experienced is, this, especially in this last relationship that I just released, and still encountering, because these people don't want to give up. And he's not only, still working on trying to control me, my relationship, and we work together. So I had to quit a job because I needed to cut all ties. And that's what I would highly suggest if you are in a relationship with these types of behaviors where they, are very abusive. They're unwilling to listen to your feelings. They're unwilling to compromise in situations that, a whole healthy relationship would be. And basically, they are all out for themselves, financially, emotionally, mentally, and they have no they're not spiritual at all. In fact, they run from that aspect, and that's the part they need the most to heal. So my opinion, is just that I've experienced this, and I want to share it with others because you may be experiencing it too. So if you're in a relationship, there are some red flags that you need to, to be aware of. Is, the gaslighting. Gaslighting is when they tell you, when you know something has happened and they negate the fact that you were aware of it and tell you, you're crazy and you're nuts and this is not, not happening. When in fact, it has happened. You have facts that it has happened. And this continues to go over and over and over and over until you sometimes give up, because if you speak up or you try to explain yourself, they fly off the handle, and that's when the physical abuse would come into play, the emotional and mental and physical abuse. So they wear you to a point where you just don't want to talk about your feelings, your wishes, your desires, because that is not in alignment with their agenda for you, and that's what it's all about. In my case, it's financial control as well. We had been together in my house, and as I said, I needed to stop working because I felt like he was pulling some things behind the scenes, and he would make me beg for every dollar, basically, for the bills and food and all of that you need to have, to run a home. And, and for my background, I've been a holistic practitioner for many years, over 25 years. I have a college degree, all of those things that you would think, oh, well, you should know better than to get in a relationship. Well, what happens is that when you meet somebody, you don't see the red flags right away until, and then they introduce these behavior patterns like a drip system, a little at a time, so that it's very unnoticeable until it gets so big that you can't ignore it anymore. And that's where intuition comes in. I'm very intuitive. As you know, I'm an astrologer, and I'm a Pisces moon, so I have a lot of intuition, and psychic abilities have really opened up for me. I can say that's one of the gifts that came from all of this, was I could actually see what he was plotting ahead of the time because of my psychic abilities and my intuitive gifts. And I was actually started reading tarot cards so that I could really tap into my intuition and see the events that were going to be unfolding in front of me so that I could cut them off at the pass. Now, you would ask yourself, why would you stay in a relationship like that for all of those years? And I have just recently listened to somebody called R.C. Blakes, and he explains soul ties. And even though I have studied the soul, the spirit development, I didn't realize that the soul tie between us was what was bringing me back. So I would break up, and then, months I would give in and forget, as most of us intuitives do, empaths, it's easy for us to forgive. And so when you forgive, you go, okay, I'll give you another chance. Let's try to make this work, and the behavior patterns continue. And I realized that it was a soul tie that was keeping me from going back, because I hadn't healed my soul. I hadn't looked at this from a higher soul spiritual lesson. I was only looking at it from an emotional, mental, physical, which is why we get stuck in these types of relationships. Emotionally and mentally, I was thinking of all those logical reasons why I should stay. On a spiritual level, it kept bringing me back to continue to learn the lesson. And then when you finally get the lesson and you realize enough is enough, then you have to break that soul tie. You know, you have to break it from a soul level. And you have to use your intuition a lot during this time. So what I thought I would tell you about today a little bit is in my book, Unlocking the Grief Code, Using Mind, Body, and Spirit Healing Solutions. One of the intuition development that I have practiced over time is what really helped me to break this pattern. Okay, and if you're in a situation like this, then these tips will be helpful for you as well, okay? So number one is developing your intuition. Pay attention to your first impressions in those aha moments, okay? Don't ignore the red flags, okay? So you need to see this for what it is, and you cannot doubt what you're actually feeling and sensing. That's the first thing, is do not doubt your intuition. No matter what anybody's telling you on an emotional or mental level, or even physically, if you're drawn in by, sex and even addictions, anything that would be physical in nature, you need to know that, you can't make excuses for what you're feeling on an intuition level, okay? You need to honor these flashes and hunches that seem to come out of nowhere. This is not the logical mind. This is those thoughts and ideas that come from nowhere. For me, I felt it in my body, in every part of my body. Your body's talking to you, so pay attention to your body and what it's telling you. And I developed numb feet, and pains in my legs, and at the end, during the COVID, I had a vision that I could not move my body at all, and I was aware of it, but my body was paralyzed. That is what scared me enough to get me out of this relationship. Your intuition is speaking to you in symbols, pictures, and images. So begin to notice those patterns and listen to them. Okay? Relaxation and meditation are used to enhance your intuition. And for my case, yoga. Yoga, meditation, and prayer. And prayer is speaking to God. Meditation is allowing the answers to flow in. And I began a regular meditation practice. I've had it most of my life. And I meditate even when I'm washing dishes. So I meditate when I'm in the shower. I meditate. For some reason, water is a good conductor for that. When I'm swimming. And listen to those pictures and symbols that you're getting. And they're not your imagination, okay? Just trust what the information is giving you. And then write down your intuitive hunches and inspiration to refer to for answers. So that's what I've been doing in my quest for knowledge, is I've been writing down everything I've been learning. And, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a mental health professional. However, I am a holistic practitioner. I do have a PhD in esoteric philosophy, hermetic science, medical intuition, and I do understand energy. That is what I feel like I'm an expert in, is the energetic components of what I'm feeling around me. And that's what I'm passing on to you, okay? To help you to be more discerning, because we're experiencing all this massive chaos in the world. But you have to realize that's just a macro version of what some people are experiencing on the micro level in their homes. So the protests and the killings and the violence and the fear and the anger and all of that is what we're experiencing on our external world. But just know that that can be mirrored very much in our homes as well. So be very discerning when you're in these relationships, who you're surrounding yourself with, and who these people are, and distance yourself from those that don't feel right to you. Trust those intuitions. Know the people that have your back, have your best interests at heart. Those are the people that you want to surround yourself with. Fortunately, I have a huge community of people I have grown with in my holistic practice over the last 30 years that I have been able to turn to, because what these narcissistic personality types do is they isolate you from your family members, which they have done for me over the last 10 years with my children. I'm now reuniting with my children. However, it just takes like one thing and they're off, and I don't have a support system from my family, from my children. So my spiritual community has been my total support system during this time of complete abuse and chaos in my life. Now, why am I calling this in? I don't know, because I'm supposed to be here for you guys to help you through it. I will be your support if you need it. Having been through it myself, I know how important it is to have a community of people that surround you when you're feeling crazy. These people come into your lives and it's nothing more than their own agenda and what they can get for their, for their own self-interest. So make sure you're writing down your intuitive hunches, okay? Write everything down and, listen to that intuition that's coming through you. Pay attention to the subtle whispers, as these can be subtle nudges to change, okay? So, they often say that the angels will come to you not in a big way, but in subtle whispers. God will speak to you in subtle whispers. God will talk to you from other people, from symbols, from signs. You just have to ask for it in your prayers. And it's important that you pray for a release from all of this, because it can be so damaging to you, your soul, your freedom, and for my case, keeping me back from the destiny that I know God wants for me. And feeling, and rejecting a destiny that they want me to achieve, but I know that my destiny is different than that. Doesn't mean I don't love them, and you may love this person. However, love is not enough to keep a relationship together. It takes everything: trust, faith, complete, an alignment of your value system, and having a God-ordained relationship, okay? Somebody that is coming in because God ordained it, and it's destined for you two to be together to do your greatest work in the world. Not for selfish reasons, not for financial reasons, not for money reasons, but to come together because as a couple, you can be better than on an individual level. Some people come together to have children. You know, my children, my husband and I came together. We had our children, and my husband was taken from me in a car accident when I was 21 and he was 25. He was drinking and driving. And, you know, that was one of those tragedies that, you know, you have to pick up and move on. And so my book about grief recovery was born, you know, and I'm able to help other people with grief and loss now as a result of my loss. Losing my mother 2 years prior to my husband dying in a car accident from a 5-year battle with breast cancer. So losing the two important people in my life within 3 years of each other, and then having to raise 2 kids on my own moving forward was not an easy feat at 21. There was no protocol for that at that time. That is what God is asking me to do, is to be here to help other people work through all of those things that come up in their life. And now God has put this in front of me to say that I experienced this because I'm now able to step in and help others with this as well. So I'm here for you. Now, we have a couple more on the list. Your intuition should empower you, not disempower you. Okay? Intuition gives you those clues on how to move forward. It doesn't keep you suppressed. It helps you to really move forward in your total evolution and your growth. And spiritual intuition is internal, it's not external. Your answers are not going to come from the external world, they're going to come from within. So one of the things that I've learned is that when you release yourself from a relationship that's abusive in any shape or form, it doesn't even have to be just physical, but it could be emotional, it could be mental, whatever it is. Isolate yourself for a while. Do not jump into a new relationship right away. You're not ready for that. I'm not ready for that. You have to go within and do the cleaning and clearing and get back to yourself, your wholeness. And we're always whole, but get back to your, heal that soul level, that soul fragmentation that had taken place from all of the abuse that you've experienced. The only way to do that is to release the mind and the emotions and totally turn it over to the spiritual realm. Give it to God to help heal your soul, because that will help you to move forward. And engage in those activities that would lead you to your divine purpose, like I'm doing. Reaching out, I'm a life coach. I have been doing life coaching for 8 years, feng shui. I do a lot of holistic practitioners. So you would think, why would you get involved in a situation like that? As I said, you don't see it coming. It comes in, it feels really good in the beginning because that's what they call the love bombing stage. Everything you could possibly want is there, and then little by little, they start to take away those pieces of your soul, the pieces of yourself that really is why they were attracted to you in the first place. But it's only because they feel better about themselves by taking yourself away from you. Those things that they admired and attracted them to you are the very things they want to destroy, because that makes them feel better about themselves. So it's very subtle. It comes in a little at a time, and it's suppression all the way, until you can't take it anymore and you have to stop it. Isolation, isolate yourself. Stop all contact with this person because you're not healed enough initially to not be emotionally manipulated, mentally manipulated, and even sexually attracted back into your life. If sex was the main component of the relationship or a big part of the relationship. So you need to cut all ties. And if you have children with somebody, in my case I don't, but if you do, then either you get a third-party intermediary, can't talk, but you understand what I'm saying. Get somebody else involved that can do the communication, whether that be an attorney, a parent, or a family member or something like that, that can be the go-between so that you are not emotionally manipulated. And then when you're stronger, over time, and things have calmed, then you're able to talk. If you have children together, then you can work things out at that point. And like I said, get therapy, go to a professional for that. I'm not here to even go down that road, but you definitely need to isolate and go within. And you don't need closure on this. You don't need forgiveness. You need to forgive yourself. Forgiveness is the next piece of that. Forgive yourself for getting involved in that. Forgive them, but you don't have to go back to that relationship and tell them, I forgive you. That is not necessary for closure. You can do that on your own. Forgive yourself for not loving yourself enough to release it, to getting involved with something like that. And then you begin the reprocess of building your life back up, building your soul, and doing the things that make you happy and moving down your path to your life of your dreams. Increasing your vibration to love, compassion, all of those things that raise our frequency, our energetic life. And I think that sometimes empaths and energy workers, we think we need to love everyone. And I was like that. I didn't have a filter. I didn't have boundaries because I am of the one consciousness. But I'm here to tell you there are people out there who are not. And they do come from a demonic place. And as an energy worker, empath, you have to protect yourself and guide and love yourself enough to stay away from those people. Let God handle that. God will take care of them. God has no grandchildren, they say, right? Let them go. Even people in your family or friends that are not supportive of your new you and where you're going, where you're heading, you gotta let them go, even as painful as that may be. This is your life we're talking about, okay? It's nothing small about this. So that's my advice. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that today before I do my soul element readings for everyone, because I will be doing more coaching and more videos on this particular subject as I move through it, okay? I'm living this too, so I'm here to help you. As I said, I am a life coach. I've been through this. I can help you. And then if you need to speak to a professional, I have people that I can refer you to that will be there to help you, all right? Or, I'd be the first one to say, find somebody you trust, okay, to go speak with. However, I can coach you through the life stuff to help you get back on track with whatever direction you're heading in at that particular time, having gone through this myself, and still going through it. So that is what I wanted to say today, and I hope that you enjoyed those few tips for intuition development. And I will be talking more about intuition development for women in crisis. That is what the divine is asking me to do next. I'm all about ascension of the planet and all about ascension of our own being to a higher level so that we can all be lifting up the planet in our lives. So I guess this is the next lesson in teaching and helping others in my quest for my freedom and living my divine destiny that God has asked me to do. So I just want to say, if you're going through this, I'm very sorry that you have to go through this. You know, there's a lesson in everything. We are in the Earth School. We're here to learn, evolve, and grow. And I wish you the best in your health and happiness as you're moving into this year of 2020 is not easy for anybody. And especially those that are experiencing the chaos on a micro level in our homes, which, you know, everybody's on a macro level. And in the last weekend with all of these things going on in the world with the riots and protesting and all of that, but know that there's people that are experiencing this at home as well. So we need to address that. We need to help each other get through this time so that we can all be healthier versions of ourselves. So I do have a private Facebook group that I have just created, and I have the link below for that. You will be anonymous. Nobody will know you're in there but the people in the group. I will be screening people. There's a few questions that you need to answer before you come into the group. And then please go ahead and come on in. I'll be talking more. You'll be getting more personalized information in the Facebook group. It's My Spiritual Sanctuary Facebook group. Okay, and I do have another page, My Spiritual Sanctuary, which is for everyone. And I'll have that link down below as well. If you would like a copy of my ebook, I will have a link below where you can put your name and email in there, and it will come directly to me. And I will send you a copy of my book, Unlocking the Grief Code Using Mind, Body, and Spirit Healing Solutions. Okay. I will be starting a coaching program for women in crisis using intuition development. I'll be using a lot of the tools and techniques I learned in my medical intuitive training, and that's coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. All right, so it's been a joy and blessing to speak with you today on this important topic, and I wish you well, and look for my readings coming up. They will be for the week of June 1st to June 7th. So until then, namaste, my friends.